Now, the other way that we can classify reactions is to kind of look at what has happened in terms of the combination or um, decombination or decomposition of the reactants. And so another way we classify them is, or first way I should say, is a synthesis reaction, or we call these combination. And in this kind, we take simple compounds and we combine them to make more complex compounds. So for example, we could take sodium metal and chlorine gas, very simple molecules, and we can combine them to make more complex sodium chloride. Or if we take calcium oxide and react it with carbon dioxide, we can combine them, which is again what we call these combination reactions, to make calcium carbonate. Now, the flip side of that is decomposition. Okay, this is the opposite of synthesis. So where we take something more complex and break it down to make it more simple. So for example, water, we could take water and break it down into its elements, hydrogen gas and oxygen gas. Well, we can take the compound potassium chlorate and break it down into more simple compounds like potassium chloride and elemental oxygen. Now, a third type of reaction we call single displacement, or another word that I'll use interchangeably with displacement is replacement. And you've observed these without even knowing that you're doing these kinds of reactions, but we can take zinc metal and put it in a solution of copper chloride. And in a single displacement, we're going to basically switch the zinc for the copper. So now the zinc will be paired up with the chlorine, and the copper will be off by itself. So again, with a single replacement, you're just switching one of the atoms for another. Similar to this is a double displacement or double replacement. And let's look at this reaction. So we'll take silver nitrate and sodium chloride, put them together to make silver chloride and sodium nitrate. Now, in a double displacement, the anions and cations are going to basically like switch partners, kind of like those old, I don't know, old style barn dances or whatever they are. And, you're dancing with one partner and then you switch and go to another one. So it's the same thing. Think of silver nitrate as a pair of dancing partners and sodium and chloride as a pair of dancing partners. And we're going to switch the anions of the two. So the chlorine is going to go to the silver and the sodium, the nitrate's going to go to the sodium. And that's what we refer to as a double displacement. So these are just um, other ways, as I said, to classify reactions. I'm not going to go too much farther into this. You should just be able to recognize them, as synthesis or decomposition or single displacement or double displacement. And then maybe I might ask, well, could this also be a redox reaction? Or could it also be a gas forming reaction? And so on. So just something to be a little familiar with.